Welcome, Taurus. This is Regina from Pacific Tarot, getting ready to do your full moon in Pisces reading, active on the 27th of this month, a partial lunar eclipse, and coming out of so much intense emotional energy. This is, again, emphasizing the final releasing of some very old patterns, almost the emotional cleaning up of the residue of things we're finally letting go of, old patterns, old relationship models, ways of communicating, ways of seeing ourselves, ways of asking for help or manifesting the things that we desire. There are so many doors closing for so many of us. This is an opportunity for you to focus on the future. Particularly for those of you with strong Taurus rising, strong Venus placements, the difference or the spectrum of boundaries and empathy, the porousness with which you may be experiencing your relationships, the way you would like your relationships or your experience to be, and the difference between your understanding of others' needs, your sensitivity to that. So we're going to start with the Crystal Spirit Tarot, the Jade card. This is about abundance. Not surprisingly, I associate the jade with the planet Venus because of its powerful and positive associations in so many cultures and its powerful beauty. The color green in and of itself suggests growth, good fortune, abundance, expansion. And this card is talking specifically about the strength or skills you may have overlooked within yourself that could be moving you towards creating a new reality for yourself. In the soul's journey, we have friendship. I understand that a friend is in my life for a reason. So, this is suggesting to me opportunities for you to move into a new friend circle, association, connect with a diversity of cultures or a set of cultural beliefs that is foreign or outside of your normal interaction. This is also reshaping the way you relate to your loved ones or intimate connections, so that I feel as though friendship or some kind of equity or equality in your relationships, or accepting friendship as the building block for all of your relationships, is something that you're working towards, something you're aspiring to, opening up to more of the world rather than less. And I think for many Taurians or Taurian energies, there is a sense of stability, fixity. You are a fixed sign, you're stubborn, you may be uncomfortable with change. You like to be comfortable and secure, and stability is the absence of change for you. And of course, you are aware that that isn't life, but the idea that your relationships could strengthen through change is one that I think is having an appeal to you, because ultimately you recognize the positive influence that friends with more in common with your interests, more shared aspirations in the world, will help you to expand. In the present, the Strength card. This is beautiful. Eights are always numbers of success to me. This card is telling me that you are a super powerful, strong person. You often understand that you are stronger than people around you. Your ability to persevere, to be disciplined, to work hard, to attend to every step, to stay in for the long haul, is a quality of strength that few around you can sustain, can keep up with. As the result of that powerful strength, in your experience, there is a tendency to see yourself as uh, more capable or better or knowing the right way, not just for you, because that may be true for you, but a way that you may feel inclined to guide or um, advise others around the right way to do things, a better way. And that often means a way that works for you and may not work for others. And I do believe that this is part of the kind of opening and curiosity that you're developing in your looking to or aspiring to new relationships, new friendships, uh, working with people who you recognize as strong, but perhaps are different from you or have different skill set or can accompany you or point you in a new direction of not just productivity, but for joy, for enjoyment, to participate in something where there is more equity. This is telling me that your home or your family life may be quite traditional or hierarchical at the very least, with likely you being at the top of the pyramid. And that is fine. I'm quite sure that many of you have produced and managed, are managing a very solid, productive family life. But there is something more for you. It feels like you're at the end of this more traditional expression or experience of family and are looking for a way to uh, grow and fit into the world that you're experiencing today, a new social context. In the past, the Five of Swords, is confirming that you really do want to change the way that you're communicating with others. As clear as you are about the abundance that you have earned, that surrounds you, that keeps you comfortable and stable, safe, truly, in your home life or your experience of home, you're aware that communicating more clearly, more less defensively with others, particularly when you are challenged, is something that you aspire to. You are tired of feeling defensive, tired that you have to defend the way you do things, or that you're challenged that the way you do things now or your approach to things is not effective, creates tension, creates arguments. In fact, this is telling me some of you, argument is a style of communication for many of you, a kind of testiness, a way of being aggressive or uh, attacking others, even unconsciously, or criticizing others in a way that feels to others as a kind of attack or being demeaned or diminished in some way is something you may not even be aware you're doing, but you are aware of the effect it has on others. And so this argumentative style of communication is something you're aware has to change. In the future, the Six of Wands is very clear response to this sense that, you're perhaps even unwittingly always arguing with those you care most about, that you're closest to. And in fact, your goal is to commit yourself to being a part of a family system, of tending to your responsibilities, or this is part of a friendship system, a social circle, an association you belong to, where you commit to your part of that effort. You take on your tasks and responsibilities. There's no desire or interest in controlling what everyone else is doing, but this greater maturation that is helping you to recognize that how others do things differently doesn't mean that they're immune from criticism, but it does mean that it allows you to stay in your lane, to do what you do well. And as a result of that, the kind of recognition and acknowledgement that you crave is yours. The regard of others for your ability to do you without having to measure someone else by your criterion, but that you understand that your part is done with an understanding that it's for the whole team, that you can model this approach without having to tell others how to do it or what to do because you don't like being told what to do. So this is beautiful because it shows that, you know what, you're releasing those old stories about what your success has brought to you. You don't need to be someone who defines others' efforts by your story or your efforts. And this is this greater desire to be in balance with others, to relate to others in a way that's positive, that promotes growth and enjoyment, success, celebration, and ultimately the recognition that you crave, dear Taurus. And that, it, again, is a function of Venus. Venus loves being not only loving, but receiving love. And you want to make yourself more in a position of receiving love, acknowledgement, appreciation. If this is resonating for you, Taurus, please like this video and subscribe to my channel, Pacific Tarot. I always appreciate your comments. Thank you so much for being here now. And for the Five of Swords in the past, 2 cards, please. And I have the Hanged Man and the Knight of Swords. The Strength card is clarified by the Strength card again. I love when that happens. And the World card. And for the Six of Wands, the Page of Pentacles and the King of Wands. Okay. So, yeah, I think you're thinking a lot about the communication style that has characterized, I think, your relationships in the past. You're opening up to being more curious about not only other people's ideas and ways that you can invite them, particularly with this style that is passionate. I don't want to just say it as though it's negative, because positively you are a passionate person. You're highly intelligent. You're very good with your words. But this way of responding to others or engaging in your communications is leading you to the consideration of other ways. And you are stepping back from those communications, those even relationships, with more consideration to how you can be more empathetic. By bringing this sensitivity to what others need, you divest yourself from needing to be right. You're recognizing that being right really isn't the point of communication with particular people, and this really feels like intimates in your environment. The desire to understand what others, to listen, to hear others articulate their needs, for you not to have to fix things, but you can still offer well-intended advisement. And your ability to listen is really modeling a skill set that others are learning from as well. So if there is, for instance, a particular relationship that always seems to devolve into back and forth and a kind of heated argument, by really stepping back and listening to what others are saying without the need to assert a position or a critique, is a message to that friend or that loved one that they too can engage in a kind of observation and an ability to consider your position and allowing that to stand without having to make the final judgment on every thought or expression or opinion or experience that you're sharing together. I hope that makes sense because you're really opening yourself up to other ways of communicating with people, particularly with this passionate desire you have to um, change your communication style, aware that you're losing information, you're losing connection with people when it's always a defensive argument. And that is a way that you have protected yourself in the past, protected yourself from change, from critique, is by defending yourself, even when defense isn't necessarily useful or working towards some greater understanding. So the strength here in the present, clarified again by the strength card and the world card. Yeah, this is really powerful release of this need to be right, this need to always be the strong one, to communicate that you've got things under control, and if everybody would just do things your way, everything would be fine. And this is ending for you. You recognize the limitations of this style, this kind of not just authoritarian, but this kind of nurturance. It's intended on your part as a way of taking care, helping others, supporting others, but it actually ends up preventing others from growing their own skill, from exhibiting their own leadership, from articulating a position of strength or passion that is fine to stand on its own merits. And your ability to do the same is one that you're inserting in a more measured way so that you recognize that every discussion doesn't have to end with an assertion of your power, your control. That nobody can tell you what to do, but that doesn't need to be the response to a criticism or a critique from others. That you have experienced enough, that you have been successful in enough environments to know that other people are entitled to their beliefs and their ideas just as you are. And this idea of agreeing to disagree is a mature one and is one that not many others cannot accept the nuance of that. So that is a nuance. It doesn't mean that you hate each other because you disagree, but understanding your differences is going to bring you together, bring you greater alignment than simply fighting about it. And then the future, the Six of Wands, clarified by the Page of Pentacles and the King of Wands. So this is telling me that you are intentionally learning how to be a leader. That a leader doesn't need to announce the right way or the answer, but rather that you're learning to stay in your lane, to respect the lane of others, and to learn about others' needs through their actions and their communication. A real leader supports all of the people that they are working on their behalf for. So a leader is actually one who represents the collective. And you can't represent the collective if you don't know what they need, if you don't learn from each one of them, if you don't allow opportunities for them to participate, to identify their strengths, and to allow that to come together through healthy communication. So it's interesting because this is coming through a lot, that leadership isn't something that is taken, it's something that organically emerges. Someone who is able to incorporate all the different ideas that exist and actually facilitate a discussion, a creative, co-creative discussion with others about the best path to take, the best decision to be made. But this is something you're learning as a result of patience. Patience, the incredible gift that is embedded in strength. Tolerance, being comfortable with other people having differences with you. And I'll tell you, in this world, this is greatly underrated. It is so underrated, not just in the social and cultural world that we inhabit, but in our personal and intimate relationships. How do we acknowledge difference? How do we learn from differences? I'm finishing up this reading with a flower oracle, and I pulled geranium. I think Sagittarius got this. And the key word is virility. Shake it up a little. You've got this. I should stop reading the quotes beneath. Virility, more to me, is about your potency, your power, yes, but your ability to hold in a creative power and shape it productively. So this is a creative ability you have, and one that lends to the power of any collective or any relationship, right? You have the ability to shape collective power and collective will. Thank you so much, Taurus, for this reading. Until next time, namaste.